Hello, good evening. Welcome back to my calm living room with a little head in the background with a little that's not a bust. That's just a candle. That's just like sitting back there judging me as I'm recording this video. But this video is simply a catch-up video for my audience, for you guys, where I get to outline some of my plans for this channel and what you should expect from me, what you could expect from me, and just some of the stuff that I'm going to be doing in the future, in the near future, next year. And as you're watching this video, I'm probably somewhere on campus or somewhere in my house or somewhere just God knows where, working through the last assignments for my bachelor's degree. But that begs the question, what comes next? Are you going to continue your education, or are you just going to throw yourself into YouTube, or what's going to happen next? First of all, to cut to the chase, I will continue my higher education. I will continue post-grad studies. I'll continue everything there is to continue in academia. The way that degrees are structured in Australia is that you typically would finish your 3 years of a bachelor's degree, and if your grades are good enough, God forbid, you'll get the chance to embark upon an honors year, which is a year where you essentially have to finish off a 10,000 word thesis, a piece of original research, and the grades for your thesis in your 4th year, which is an honors year, will give you some opportunities or will hand you the golden key towards actual grad school. And recently, during my study breaks, I've been browsing through what's called a PhD comics series, which is on pile higher and deeper comic strips. And I found this little graph which perfectly articulated how I'm feeling right now. This graph is pretty self-explanatory, but to boil it down to one single statement, the more you learn, the stupider you feel. I don't know if you've been a part of like a first year literature class, but I'm personally very guilty of this as well. I can see that in retrospect, but at the time I was just, I was probably dumb. As a fresh first year, I felt like I knew everything about literature. I felt like I've read everything under the sun. And, in class discussions, I was pretty well spoken in the worst way possible, I'd say. Then as I progressed through my degree, towards the end of my 3rd year, I just felt like, man, you better watch your mouth. You better watch what you're saying because, man, you know virtually nothing about your discipline. And that's why a part of me is just kind of like, I've spent 3 years doing jibber jabber, doing absolutely nothing. But then another part of me is just kind of like, maybe there's a method to this madness. Maybe it is the case that I spent the last 3 years not learning about stuff, but actually learning about how much I actually don't know about my discipline. And that's where this decision to continue with my higher education came from, is simply to plug those holes in my understanding and to realize that, hey, there's a lot more stuff out there to learn. The more you know, the less you know. And the only thing that I'm certain of is that I know absolutely nothing. So now you might be wondering, what's going to happen to YouTube? What's going to happen to all your content? Are you gonna leave us alone here because you're off pursuing this like higher education thing? Well, tell you what, quite the contrary. For the past 5 years of YouTube, I've mainly been talking about how to read better or how to bring more books into your life, how to bring education back into your life, because, well, high schools did a pretty good job of sucking out the curiosity out of us. But with the passage of time and with the gaining of experience, I've realized that I need to expand sort of like the scope of what I'm covering. Instead of talking about how to read, the future focus of my channel is mainly going to be about how could the stuff that you're reading influence your life practically. Because some of the books that we've been talking about on this channel can seem at first to be just pure sort of like metaphysical mumbo jumbo. And hopefully in the future, I'll talk more about how these metaphysical mumbo jumbos could really make a concrete impact in your life. There's going to be a heavier focus on research for these episodes. There's going to be a heavier focus on how these episodes are presented, because it can't just be a talking head up here talking for 20 minutes. It can't just be me doing a monologue for 20 minutes. But the main goal here is to produce engaging content that covers the stuff that I've been reading, mainly in the field of philosophy, in the field of literary criticism, critical theory, great pieces of literature, and to sort of give you guys an idea of how these books can change your life very practically. Just as a preview, the next upcoming episode will be on Walter Benjamin's essay, The Task of a Translator, where we basically get together and do a very close reading of this amazing essay, The Task of a Translator. And I'm going to sort of like explain my understanding of the essay and relate it to why you should engage with original texts of a book and what you're exactly sacrificing when you read a translation of a book. And the main thing that I'm going to focus on is going to be accessibility, to give you guys sort of like an inspectional overview of the work of the subject that we're tackling or the work of the author that we're tackling. So it would motivate you to either do your own readings, read the original essay. I'll link all of the reading material in the description, or it could just serve as entertainment or general knowledge if you can't be bothered to read the source material. And the end ambition is to sort of revitalize everything that's been locked behind the closed doors of academia, because I really think that some of this material is simply amazing. I'm just kind of like, why haven't anyone heard of this? Why do we have to assume this elitism in academia where, good stuff is hidden behind closed doors or cloaked in this language that is virtually impossible to read? And at the end of the day, it's also for myself, because by explaining some of this stuff on camera, I get to understand it better myself. And that's gonna link to my final point, which is future career choices. My dream ever since I was 13 or something, had always been to be a good teacher. Teaching has a very special allure to me, and I really enjoy the process of, passing on knowledge or passing on something that I could offer to a general audience or to students face to face. And hopefully by the time I finish my honors year or have completed my honors thesis, I'll have the time and energy, or still have the burning ambition to pursue this path of becoming a university professor. Once you've discovered a passion for something, it's something that would never ever leave you, and teaching is one of those things for me. And if I get to bring whatever I'm teaching on YouTube, and as my understanding of reality expands, I really want to, pursue a solid career in teaching, to perpetuate the value of literature or perpetuate the value of philosophy, and to actually teach it at a college level at some point. So those are some of the points I want to throw out there, and hope you guys are having a great week so far. Today's Saturday, so I hope you guys are having a great weekend so far, and I will keep you posted on some of these projects that I'm working on, new upcoming videos, and all the crazy stuff that's been happening in my life. So if you want to keep yourself up to date, follow me on Instagram, link in the description down below, and I will catch you in the next one. Take care, and good night.